gents. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is the prodigious, the prominent professor at Proclamation News. Thank you all for rightly coming into the show. With Flux with the show and Castbox, both observant and staying preserved inside Essex. We've got Scotland, SNP. Got Matt Hancock, Conservative. Also, I've got an email. I was on a conference call earlier with Sajid Javid, Esther Mcvee, Elizabeth Truss, Boris Johnson, Matt Hancock, Will Quince, Grant Shapps. We are today. Do you know what we're doing today? We've got the election coming up on May the 6th. May the 6th election. We've got the Mayor of London, police commissioners coming forward. I've had a call out to give the up-and-coming the votes. The police commissioner, Cressy Deer. Conservative government. How much is it to sign up for Conservative? If you haven't signed up yet, do you know what it means if you sign up, becoming a member of your party politics? You can help shape up Britain. You can help shape up your children's future. Your family's safety is paramount. Conservative are a neoliberalism government, a fair trade system, absolutely. Under 26, it's £5 a year to sign up for the Conservatives. For standard membership, it's only £25 a year, which £2 a month works out. £2.09 a month. You can pay on your card, which I do. Armed Forces is only £15 a year to sign up. What does it help? What do you help towards? What do you get out of paying your membership? Out of your £25 a year, what do you get? That's what you want to know. You're paying £25. What do you get in return? You can help the Conservatives win an election. What happens if Conservatives win an election? Well, our safety is paramount. We've got better infrastructure, better police force, better NHS, better roads for working commuters, better transport on the way to work. Choose candidates and vote in leadership elections. Take part in our campaign groups. Come to a conference. Join our MPs, councillors and activists in the biggest event of the Conservatives calendar. Get the latest from inside the party. Influence party policy. Give them feedback and on policy briefs. Connect with local Conservatives. As a member, you become part of your local association, supporting local campaigns and attending social events with members just like you. You can stand for election. Maybe you want to be elected within the Conservative government as a councillor, perhaps. So if you decide that you want to take part in a democracy, you can. You can also sign up and volunteer. Go on to conservatives.com/join. Become a member today. Also, if you message the right MP, they'll do something. Will Quince works for DWP. Vicky Ford works throughout the family court in Chelmsford. Grant Shapps is Transport Secretary. Boris Johnson is Prime Minister. If you're in their constituencies where they are, you can get information through their email. So it's important to know what your politician in your constituency stands for, what they do, and what they can do for you. It's important to know that, guys. If you're listening, take it on board. Like I say, vote Conservative at the next election on May the 6th. They're having polling stations open, but it's going to be safety measures: hands, face, space, and place. Wash your hands. Keep distance. Try not make conversation. Keep your mask on. There you go. Please share. Please subscribe. I want to get this message across the whole spectrum throughout the politic border. This is Absolute Bread Express, the media today. Thank you all for coming. coming through. Hallelujah, ladies and gents. Thank you ever so much for coming through and supporting our show time and time again. Absolutely phenomenal, guys. Really appreciate you all. Couldn't have asked for a better crowd on live talks and YouTube. Getting this production out there to hundreds with temperatures set to soar. Been having bits of snow. We've had all kinds of weather. I'm not sure if sun's coming or going, or if the snow's staying or going. We don't know what's happening. Is it a good day out there for a duck, or is it a good day out there for humanity? It's England. It's inhumane. Never know what you're going to get. BBC weather, mini heat wave to hit Essex this weekend as temperatures across the country. Absolutely phenomenal, isn't it? Braintree, sunny intervals and gentle breeze, highs of 10%, 10 Celsius. Brentwood, sunny intervals and gentle breeze, highs of 11 Celsius. Castle Point, sunny intervals and gentle breeze, highs of 10 Celsius. Colchester, sunny intervals and gentle breeze, highs of 10 Celsius. Chelmsford, sunny intervals and gentle breeze, highs of 11 Celsius. Epping Forest, sunny intervals and a gentle breeze, highs of 11 Celsius. Harlow, sunny intervals and a gentle breeze of 11 Celsius. I'm just going to read them all out. We've got Malden, Watford, Southend, Thurrock, Tendring, Uttersford, all within 7 degrees Celsius. Thank you, ladies and gents, with the weather warning update. Temperatures are a lot better than what we've had. Absolutely. I've got a plant on my windowsill. It looks like it's going to go for the top of the windowsill if I don't get it outside anytime soon. But it's getting ready to start blossoming the berries. Matt Hancock owns shares in an NHS approved firm. Health Secretary Matt Hancock owns shares in a company which is approved as a potential supplier for NHS Truss in England. It has emerged. In March, he declares he had acquired more than 50% of Topwood Limited, which was guaranteed the approved status in 2019. The firm, which specialises in a secure storage, shredding and scanning of documents, also won $300,000 of business from NHS Wales this year. A government spokesman said there had been no conflict of interest. He also said the Health Secretary had acted entirely properly, but Labour said there was cronyism at the heart of this government. In March this year, Mr. Hancock showed that the NHS in England awarded the company a place in the shared business services framework as a potential supplier for local trust in 2019. The year after Matt Hancock becomes Health Secretary, the MP's register did not mention that his sister Emily Gilruth involved in the firm since its foundation in 2002. Owns a large portion of the shares and is a director of that. Topwood has links to the NHS, as first reported by the Guido Fawkes blog and Health Service Journal. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer said, Matt Hancock has to answer questions. He can pretend that the responsibility lies elsewhere. But he said he was not suggesting the Health Secretary had broken any rules. The SNP's duty Westminster leader, Kirsten Oswald, said Tory cronyism was rife within Westminster. The Ministerial Code, ladies and gents, but a government spokesman said Mr. Matt Hancock has acted entirely properly in these circumstances. All declarations of interest have been made in accordance with the Ministerial Code. Ministers have no involvement in the awarding of these contracts and no conflict of interest arises. The Department of Health source said Mr. Hancock had discussed the fact he was to be gifted shares in the firm with civil servants before he accepted them. They ruled that if any conflicts of interest were to arise, it could be handled in line with the Ministerial Code, the rule book setting out the standards of conduct for ministers. This states that ministers should declare interest of close family if they believe they might give rise to a conflict. When he was Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport in 2017, he did declare that his brother Chris Hancock was chief executive of an investment crowdfunding company called Crowd to Fund. The Department of Health said Mr. Hancock had no active role in running Topwood. As Health Secretary of England, he does not have responsibility for NHS Wales, which awarded contracts to Topwood earlier this year. Mr. Hancock has not yet commented. Thank you all, ladies and gents, for coming through. It is Proclamation News and Gatherings. As some of you may have only just turned up, it is the prodigious, prominent Professor Johnson. People have the idea that you will be sacked sooner or later. I would have preferred that to come a little later on, but it happened. And that was important for me. And what I'm certain about today is that this experience has made me and will make me a better coach. Vieira, who started his coaching career at Manchester City and MLS side in New York City, total the league equipped. And this desire to be at training, this adrenaline on the touchline, I know I'm convinced that I'm made for this. My ambition is to have a great coach career. I am determined. I want it. We're only at the start. I'm going to give myself the means to succeed. He's working on progressive progression. He wants to inspire, not expire. Like as a player, I always went looking for things. I always thought, I'll be the same for this job. I'm going to look for what I want. I have the ambition to go very high. I'll speak with Arsene. He tells me that I can make it. These are things that tell me that I'm made for this. I mean, everyone's got aspirations in life. What's your inspiration? Your aspiration are your goals. Who are you inspired by in your aspiration? If it's professional boxing, professional football, or maybe you want to be a mediator, or I don't know, a legislator, whatever job role you do. Who is your? And then do you think you've got what it takes to cut? I became a radio presenter 3 years ago. I was in intermediate studies. I've always been a pretty damn good reader because I've read the Bible all throughout the years. Didn't get great grades within English, believe it or not. Although I'm a phenomenal speaker, I didn't get great grades at English. I'm in university now, so I've come on leaps and bounds in my life. It was revealed. He has been given shares in a family firm that has done business with the NHS. Mr. Hancock has declared in the Commons Register of MPs' interest that he now owns shares in Topwood Limited, a disposal company owned by his sister and other family members. It was reported this week that the company has been awarded 2 contracts worth £300,000 by NHS Wales, from which Mr. Hancock had no responsibility as health is devolved to the Welsh Government. But the Health Service Journal and Topwood was also awarded a photo confirms Mr. Hancock has omitted to declare his seeing what's going on around the world. When you're thinking you're having a bad day, you need that a bit of compassion to help you through your struggles. Maybe you just lost a brother, sister, your auntie, uncle, your cat, your dog, anything. And then you wake up, you hear the news, you think, it must be so. Guys, and I'm still here. I'm going to get a good little show going. I'm happy, and I'm happy too.
Maybe that the optical took at that moment, believing in his mind that he was going to have his gun in his hand still, and then that's when it went off. So I'm not justified.
No, you're not. You're just talking about the way you perceive things. But I mean, the angle I've seen, and I've only seen it once, and I don't really want to keep looking at it. I mean, clearly, if I was a juror, I'd take the time to do it, but I'm not. But the boy doesn't have his hands by his waist. He responds immediately to the request to show his hands, and he does that. He shows his hands, and they're higher around the height of his head, or a bit higher. And
if you slow it down, you see what he does. He runs to this corner of the fence, and you see his right hand go back, and you just for a very brief second see his hand with the firearm, and as it comes forward, and then you see it again. Obviously, from our point of view, we get the privilege of time. You see his hands, but what fingers when he come forward? We don't know, but also speed of light, speed of sound are different. The gunshot went off when his hands were in the air. It could be that the trigger was squeezed prior to that moment, and there's that delay. It is a minute second, and it is tragedy, it's sad, but if you watch all the officers' videos and all the different people that were there, the firearm was in his hand, and it was chucked behind, and it was there. So there is another 13-year-old boy running around with a firearm in his hand.
That's a safeguarding question, isn't it? It's a very important one. Yeah. I have to leave it there. Theo, thank you. Theo in Southampton. It's 2:31 now. More of your calls in a few moments. We also have an interesting tale related to the AstraZeneca vaccine from Germany. We'll talk to Thomas Sparrow, German correspondent at Deutsche Welle. It's 2:52. Let's get the headlines from Tim Hopkins.
More than 70 cases of a COVID-19 variant from India have been detected in.
But she was dragged out of the back of a car.
Yes,
That's not polite.
No, but I'm talking about how the initial, from the get-go, from the first point of contact, the British police were, I'm not excusing them or defending them in any shape or form here, but the style that the British police used in general is a lot more polite and a lot more softer. And each situation has changed individually, but compared to what I've seen in America, right from the get-go, American police are a lot more aggressive straight off the bat. I mean, I even, as I said, I had friends who were in the force, and they didn't necessarily consider, they considered themselves policemen, but as policemen, they considered themselves to be almost like a military force. And there's definitely that kind of camaraderie.
Well, and also you can't forget the fact, can you, that that's because the population is armed.
Correct. I mean, there were times when, like, the guy I used to know would say to me, I mean, I used to go over for barbecues and that, and you'd have all these friends over, and most of them were all police, so I mingled amongst these guys, and they would say, look, it is a war out there on the streets, and I kiss my wife and children goodbye in the mornings. I don't know if I'm coming back in the evening.
But that's part of the problem, isn't it? That you've got, it seems to me anyway, that you've got a police force there in the States wound up like
entertainment, but there is an element of truth sometimes in how in different programs, movies, how the police are portrayed, and they can come across as being excessively aggressive. I mean, as I said,
I'm going to leave it there just to find time and room for Ian before we go to the news at 3 and leave the subject for today. But thank you very much, Ian, for your call. Ian in Manchester, hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. You're currently a firearms officer.
I am, yeah.
You wanted to talk about training?
Yeah, I think people are probably have a misconception for how little training you need to get into the police, well, to get into any kind of firearms or for the course that I went on, there was 20 people on my course, and only 80 was passed. So, first of all, there's a huge dropout rate for individuals who are trying to get through the course. Not doing it on their own, they give themselves opportunities for that, but the threshold for you to pass is incredibly high. Every aspect of what you are assessed on, the mental, the physical aspect of it, everything is assessed. Your ability to retain information, how to assess that information quick time, how to perceive the information you're looking at. It's not just something that you walk into any day of the week and say, I can do this, I'm going to crack on with it. It's a huge amount of work. The level of, I think people also need to bear in mind that the type of culture that we have in the UK.
And that's the difference, isn't it?
You would. I think it's because you're in America, you know that people have them, they've got things like concealed licenses for pistols, very small arms that can be easily concealed against a person. You never know what that person's going to have. Here, the only likelihood that you're ever going to encounter anything like a handgun or submachine gun, that kind of caliber, is when you're dealing with a hardened criminal.
Kathy Hayward, and she's going to join me in a moment to talk about her experience. She was told by the care home where her aunt lives that she can't visit her still until she's had her second vaccine, which is 10 weeks away. Kathy will explain the scenario in a bit more detail in just a moment. But you tell me, have you been blocked from rightfully visiting your loved one in a care home? That's after the news, which is next.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC.
From Global's newsroom at 3 o'clock, a new variant of coronavirus from India that's been discovered in the UK is being treated as under investigation rather than of concern. 73 cases of the strain have been found in England and 4 in Scotland. Public Health England are now tracking 11 different variants here. Infection rates are falling across the UK, but the head of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, says infections are increasing at worrying rates elsewhere.
Globally, the number of new cases per week has nearly doubled over the past 2 months. This is approaching the highest rate of infection that we have seen so far during the pandemic.
The coronavirus reproduction rate, known as the R number, remains largely unchanged in England, between 0.8 and 1. But
Ladies and gents, I say thank you for coming through. Today I was out campaigning for the Conservative Club, got made a sick election. Thank you ever so much. Before I go, I want to have a bit of an evaluation over the past few days, what was going on. I was going to move forward through the whole segment, but the system's playing up at the moment, so we have a short show today. I might be back later this evening or tomorrow evening. I just want to say thank you all for coming through and supporting me day in, day out. It means an awful substantial amount of observance and preservance to listen in and see what's going on around the UK. Please subscribe to Confirmation of the Government on Castbox and YouTube. You guys on my live TV channel, I appreciate you guys. I've got about nearly 400 listeners listening all at the same time. I've got nearly 20 listeners on Castbox. I've got 300 odd listeners on my live TV. I had one listen on YouTube gone because that's where I've only said the voices, and obviously that puts me back a little bit. I hate having that happened. Having slight technical issues with Windows making me awkward. But yeah, like I say, I just want to thank you all for coming through. Appreciate you. And hopefully see you again tomorrow. Simple Life. How you doing, Simple Life? How are you doing, Simple Life? It's been a while.